Welcome to the channel, folks. Today we're diving deep into the wild world of sports, and trust me, things are about to get real. We're talking about the dark side, the underbelly, the stuff they don't want you to see. Athletes who cheated their way to the top. We're talking about those individuals who looked the world dead in the eye and said, "I'm the best," while secretly breaking every rule in the book. It's a crazy story, man. It makes you question everything. So, buckle up, because we're about to uncover the truth behind some of the most infamous scandals in sports history. We're talking names like Lance Armstrong, Tonya Harding, and Diego Maradona. These folks were legends, but their legacies are forever tainted by their actions. Let's do this. First up, we've got Lance Armstrong, the man who was once a symbol of hope and resilience. This dude was battling cancer, testicular cancer that had spread to his lungs and brain. They gave him like a 50-50 chance of survival. But he fought back, kicked cancer's ass, and then went on to win the Tour de France 7 times in a row. It was insane. People were calling him a superhero, a legend. He was like the ultimate comeback story, right? But then, the truth came out. Turns out, Armstrong's superhuman performance wasn't just willpower and grit. It was fueled by a sophisticated doping program. We're talking EPO, blood transfusions, testosterone, the whole 9 yards. He basically had a team of doctors and scientists helping him cheat the system, and for years he denied everything. He attacked anyone who dared to question his integrity. He even sued some people for defamation. It was crazy, but the evidence was overwhelming. In 2012, the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency released a massive report detailing Armstrong's cheating, and that was it. He was stripped of his Tour de France titles, lost his sponsors, and became a pariah in the cycling world. It was a spectacular fall from grace. The dude went from being a national hero to, like, the poster boy for cheating in sports. What's crazy is that Armstrong was so good, even without the drugs. He was already winning races before he started doping. But the pressure to stay on top, to maintain that image of invincibility, it drove him to make some really bad choices. And you know what? It's a shame, man. It's a shame because his story could have been so much more powerful if he'd just been honest from the start. But instead, he chose to lie, to deceive, and ultimately, to destroy his own legacy. Next up, we're heading to the track with Ben Johnson. Picture this. The 1988 Seoul Olympics, the men's 100-meter final. It's the biggest race of the games, the one that determines the fastest man on Earth. The tension is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, man. Lined up in the blocks, you've got Ben Johnson, the reigning world champion from Canada, and his arch-rival Carl Lewis from the United States. These guys were like the Ali and Frazier of sprinting. Just pure athletic rivalry. The gun goes off and Johnson explodes out of the blocks like a rocket. He's way ahead of the pack and he crosses the finish line first, setting a new world record of 9.79 seconds. The crowd goes wild. Johnson celebrating, draped in the Canadian flag, the image of victory. But then, just a couple of days later, the hammer drops. Johnson tests positive for steroids. The world is shocked. His gold medal? Gone, his world record? Erased. Johnson's fall from grace was swift and brutal. He was banned from athletics for 2 years and his reputation was forever tarnished. Now here's the thing about the Johnson scandal. It wasn't just about one athlete getting caught cheating, it exposed the dark underbelly of track and field, a world where performance-enhancing drugs were rampant. It's like Johnson was the guy who got caught, but everyone knew there were others doing it too. It was like a dirty little secret that everyone knew about but didn't want to talk about. The Johnson case sent shockwaves through the sporting world and forced people to confront the ugly truth about doping in athletics. It was a wake-up call, a moment where the world realized that the pursuit of athletic glory had gone too far, and it made everyone question how many other athletes were out there breaking records and winning medals, all thanks to the power of drugs. It was a dark time for sports, man. Alright, this next story is seriously messed up. We're talking about Tonya Harding, the figure skater who became infamous for all the wrong reasons. Now figure skating, it's supposed to be all about grace and elegance, right? But Harding's story is anything but graceful. It's a tale of rivalry, jealousy, and a plot so bizarre it sounds like something out of a bad movie. So picture this. It's 1994, and the U.S. Figure Skating Championships are going down in Detroit. The stakes are high because the winner gets to represent the United States at the Winter Olympics. Harding's main competition? Nancy Kerrigan, America's sweetheart, known for her elegant style and flawless technique. These two were like oil and water, complete opposites on and off the ice. Now, a few weeks before the championships, something crazy happens. Kerrigan is attacked after a practice session. A man comes out of nowhere and whacks her on the knee with a baton. Can you imagine? You're just trying to train for the Olympics, and some dude attacks you with a weapon? It turns out that the attack was orchestrated by Harding's ex-husband, Jeff Gillooly, and her bodyguard Sean Eckhart. Their motive? To eliminate Kerrigan from competition and give Harding a better shot at the gold medal. It was a completely insane plan, and it backfired spectacularly. The attack made headlines around the world, and Harding became public enemy number one. She denied any involvement in the attack, but the evidence against her was pretty damning. She eventually pleaded guilty to hindering the prosecution, and was banned from figure skating for life. The whole thing was a disaster, a complete and utter mess. It tarnished the image of figure skating, and turned Tonya Harding into a cautionary tale of what happens when ambition goes too far. It's a story that just goes to show you the human psyche is a strange and mysterious thing, man. Let's talk about Rosie Ruiz, the woman who pulled off one of the most audacious cheats in marathon history. Now, running a marathon, it's no joke, right? It takes months of training, incredible endurance, and a whole lot of mental toughness. But Rosie Ruiz, she decided to skip all that and just take a shortcut to the finish line. It was the 1980 Boston Marathon, and Ruiz was a relative unknown in the running world. No one really knew much about her, which in retrospect is kind of a red flag. Anyway, the race starts, and Ruiz is nowhere to be seen among the lead runners. But then, like a bolt out of the blue, she appears out of nowhere near the finish line, looking surprisingly fresh and not even breaking a sweat. She crosses the finish line first, stunning the crowd and the organizers. People are like, who is this woman? Where did she come from? But as they started looking into Ruiz's story, things started to unravel faster than a cheap suit. Turns out she had actually hopped onto the course about a mile from the finish line, blending in with the crowd of runners. She literally just skipped almost the entire race. It was a bold strategy, man, but it didn't take long for the truth to come out. Witnesses came forward saying they saw her jump into the race near the end, and her lack of sweat and fatigue was a dead giveaway. The Boston Marathon organizers launched an investigation, and Ruiz's story quickly fell apart. They stripped her of her title, and she became a symbol of cheating in sports. It's amazing how quickly you can go from hero to zero, just by taking a shortcut. Finally, we come to Diego Maradona, the Argentinian soccer legend who was as famous for his brilliance on the field as he was for his controversies off it. Maradona was a true artist with the ball at his feet, capable of dribbling through entire defenses and scoring goals that defied logic. But he was also a master of the dark arts, willing to bend the rules and sometimes even break them to win. And no moment encapsulates this duality better than the infamous Hand of God goal during the 1986 World Cup quarterfinal match between Argentina and England. The stage was set, man. It was Argentina versus England, a clash of titans, fueled by political tensions and national pride. The atmosphere was electric. 6 minutes into the second half, with the score tied at 0-0, Maradona chases down a long pass into the penalty area. As the English goalkeeper comes out to punch the ball clear, Maradona, who was significantly shorter, jumps up and uses his left hand to punch the ball into the net. The referee, perhaps unsighted, allows the goal to stand, much to the outrage of the English players and fans. It was a blatant handball, a clear violation of the rules. But Maradona, with a sly grin on his face, celebrated as if nothing had happened. He later claimed that the goal was scored a little with the head of Maradona, and a little with the hand of God, and that's how it became known as the Hand of God goal, one of the most controversial moments in World Cup history. Now here's the thing about Maradona. As much as the Hand of God goal was a blatant cheat, it also became part of his legend. It showed his cunning, his willingness to do whatever it took to win, even if it meant resorting to trickery. And you know what? Some people loved him for it. They saw it as a way of sticking it to the English, who were seen as the arrogant favorites. But others saw it as a stain on the beautiful game, a betrayal of the spirit of fair play. Love him or hate him, there's no denying that Diego Maradona was one of the most gifted and controversial footballers of all time. He was a true enigma, a flawed genius who left an indelible mark on the sport. So there you have it, folks, a glimpse into the dark side of sports. These stories are a reminder that even in the world of competition, where we celebrate athleticism and fair play, there will always be those who are willing to break the rules to get ahead. But as we've seen, cheating comes at a price. It might bring temporary glory, but it ultimately leads to disgrace, disappointment, and a legacy forever tarnished. It's like trying to outrun your own shadow, man. You can try to hide from it, but it's always there. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more intriguing sports stories. See you next time.